for you, not a problem, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, brilliant. I said, I'll probably be up Wednesday because it's my day off. See you then. So I had to go over to my parents' house, which is like 35 miles for the receipt because the SSD was my dad's. So I flew over to, not flew, I drove over to my parents, where my parents live, then went on to a town just across from where my parents, which is about 8 miles away. So I did like 45 plus miles today just to go to this shop. Did this, got into the shop, right? And they told me that they couldn't exchange it. After I was told on Monday they could.
After you drove all that way?
Say again?
After you drove all that way, and then they said no?
No, and yeah, basically what happened was I walked in, they were like, no, it has to be sent off because it's got data on it. We can't exchange it. I was like, but I phoned you up and you told me you could, and now you telling me you can't. I was like, I just done like a 50-mile trip. What is it? And all of a sudden there was rage. There was anger and rage and everything in one. My mum was standing next to me, and I just kind of blew up. I was like, this is just ridiculous. I didn't swear or anything like that. I just got very irate. And I said, look, the way you're talking to me is so poor customer service. I said, if someone told me on the phone on Monday that we have to send it off, this would have been a different conversation. I said, but why would I come in here saying that I would like an exchange of my my solid state drive, which has failed after 2 months of use, and you're telling me that I can't exchange it? So I walked out of there really, really sort of like annoyed. And I said to my mum, so I dropped my mum off back at home, and there's another Maplin in the city. So what I did was I drove into the city, and they exchanged it.
Okay. You know what? I mean, have you ever worked retail? Oh, well, you work retail now.
Yeah, I've worked in retail all my life. I've worked ever since I left school. I went straight into. I've been in some form of butchery. So I worked for a supermarket for a year and a half, but I've been in retail.
Yeah. So my guess is you were probably interacting with like a low beyond the totem pole who doesn't. Like when I worked in retail, I was always a low beyond the totem pole, and we always had to say no to the customer. And then the manager would come over. They'd be super mad at us. And then the manager would come over and they'd be like, hey, how's everything going? And then the manager would give them everything they want and make us look like a total tool.
But the guy even said it was company policy. So this was apparently policy through all stores through the UK.
Well, yeah, but managers can take policy and say, we're going to skip that this time to make you happy.
I just found it it was a very bizarre, but I've got it up and running. It's all good. The new SSD is installed. But what I've done, I've been clever with this, guys. I've done something clever.
Well, he thinks it's clever. We'll find out how it really goes.
People can't really try to return meat, can it? Dragon Tears, you'll be surprised. I'm not even joking. We have had people, and this is a true story, and I'm going to tell it because this is hilarious. Couple of Christmases ago, we sell hundreds of turkeys at Christmas. Turkeys, chickens, Christmas time. That's what people love. So we sold this turkey, and this lady brought it back in just after Christmas, cooked, right? It was cooked, and went to us. There was no meat on this turkey. This was a 14-pound turkey, right? 14-pound turkey. So this is huge. You know, it's a decent-sized turkey. Just going to feed a good 7 or 8 people. Brings it in and said there was no meat on it. And we're like, what? Well, how is there no meat on it? It's a 14-pound. What she'd done is she'd cooked it upside down and tried to carve it upside down. And when I turned the turkey over, there all the meat was. So there you go. That's the joy of working in retail. You get customers like that. And the clever thing is, the hard drive I was running Monday, Tuesday, I've actually packed away with all the data on it because it's up and running, ready to go. So if anything happens with said hard drive, I can plug in a new hard drive. I have everything installed.
I think he means to say when something happens. Because
nothing run. No. I am taking this oath now that my bad luck with technology has come to an end. All right, I am now finished with bad luck. It is going to be good luck from here on out. If anybody curses me, I'm coming after them.
All right, so you guys heard it here first. he's not going to have any other problems with his setup. I am happy to hear that. Good for you, man. Think positive. We are streaming on positivity right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to talk about some video games?
That'd be great. Let's take it away from me, please.
All right. So anyway, today is March 29th, 2017. This is episode 71 of Run, Jump, Stomp. And this week, we're definitely talking about video games. But as every time, we stream this live at twitch.tv/Run, Jump, Stomp. And I'm joined by Django Zapp right over there. You can find him at twitch.tv/DJ Zapp. And before we really get into video games, did you click the link that in the show notes I said do not click this link, Zapp?
I clicked no link.
All right, click it now. I want you to see what it is.
Oh, hang on. I don't see a link to click.
What? It says
Oh,
Zapp.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. I want that so badly.
I knew you would. I absolutely knew that you would. For those of you just listening, it's a Metal Gear Solid 5 D-Walker, full-size costume. This guy is up on a robot-looking thing, and it looks cool, really cool. And I knew that when Zapp saw this, he'd have the look on his face that only if you're watching, you'll know.
People don't. If people don't know, I am one of the biggest. I need to say Konami. Hang on a minute. Let me just take a step back.
Zapp's a big fan of Konami.
Yeah, I'm one of the biggest Metal Gear fans. Kojima, that is incredible. That's so cool. That's that's really cool.
All right, let's get into the real stories then. So the first one this week is that StarCraft is coming to be remastered. The original StarCraft. Did you ever play StarCraft?
I didn't, but I'm looking forward to this. This looks cool. So no, I never played the original StarCraft.
Well, the original StarCraft is it was a huge game as far as esports. It's where esports basically started. And it's 1v1 basically. One person is controlling an army versus another person, and this is where the whole esports genre started. And so Blizzard is remaking it, and I'm happy to see that it's they're updating the sprites and making it widescreen, but they're not making it polygonal. It's just better sprites. That's going to look really cool. I never played StarCraft. Oops, that's the wrong button. There we go. I never played StarCraft. My friends had it, and I played it a little bit. Like I tried it on my computer, on my friend's computer, and it's a RTS game, which I suck at RTS games, so I never really got into them. But this looks really cool, and I'm glad that they're remaking it. The thing that I think that Blizzard needs to be ready for is this idea that there is a very good chance that StarCraft 2 will not be played as much in the esports scene when StarCraft 1's remake comes out. StarCraft 2, while a very good game by all accounts, people want the original. They want that original feeling with StarCraft 1. And my guess is that we're going to see some StarCraft 1 esports stuff going on. And if you want to start playing StarCraft now, you can get it for free at Battle.net. Just not the updated version, but you can get the old version for free, which is really cool.
Oh, cool. Mine's saying it's unavailable.
The link that I sent you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's US Battle.net, so
okay.
Maybe you have to do EU Battle.net or never mind. I won't mention that. I don't know how
apparently it's sold out.
Oh yeah, they probably ran out of codes and they have to make more codes.
Yeah, it's sold out apparently, and it's not Battle.net anymore. It's BlizzNet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, BlizzardNet. Well, it still says Battle.net on the website though.
Yeah, they've changed. There was an update the other day. It was like, we're no longer Battle.net. We're BlizzardNet. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll when this is available for download, I'm going to pick it up.
Awesome.
And have a look.
Yeah,
So
and I probably won't because I suck at real-time strategy games.
that's for me was one of my first kind of genres I got involved in is with the real time strategy. I do love me some real time strategy. So
Did you
yeah, no,
play Command and Conquer?
yeah, Command and Conquer did Command and Conquer, Command and Conquer,
Red Alert?
Red Alert.
Yeah, that's the one that I played a lot of.
Yeah, Tiberian Sun was another one.
I did not play that
Fred,
one.
we had. I mean, everyone has these stories, but these are kind of the where for me it all kind of kicked off. Going around a friend's house and playing Command and Conquer, and we just go we play it for hours, and that's kind of where the love of Warhammer then came in, and then we sort of moved over to the board game of Warhammer. So that was kind of a transition between gaming and board gaming. But yeah, Command and Conquer it was an incredible RTS.
Did you
So
ever
yeah,
get?
it was.
Go ahead.
No, say again.
I was just asking if you had ever had a chance to play Warcraft, like not World of
No,
Warcraft, but the RTS games.
no, it's something that is always I've kind of it's just kind of gone past me if that makes sense. I just looked on Battle.net; they are really cheap. Warcraft 3 is cheap,
Warcraft
£7.
3 is the game. I never played Warcraft 1 or Warcraft 2, but I absolutely adored Warcraft 3, even though I suck at RTSs. They had a
Yeah,
cool thing where you were controlling an army, just like in every RTS, but you also had a hero, and that hero had special abilities that they could use in the battles to completely turn the tide. And it was really, really fun to play those games. And the story is really the story of Warcraft 3 is phenomenal.
that sounds a lot like Dawn of War 2. Dawn of War 2 kind of changed that structure of instead of having they kind of did kind of half of that and half of you kind of had squads and a hero, but not so much of an army. I'm going to check out Warcraft 3. Windows 3.1 for the win. I just remember that. Uh,
Hey, I remember back. This is really going to show how old I am, and I don't know how related this is, but you just triggered a memory in my brain. I remember back when I was running DOS, and
DOS.
I would edit the autoexec bat file to give myself a graphical user interface in DOS to launch my games.
Really?
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, we're on a tangent now here, guys. But my first experience of gaming with my dad was Doom in DOS. I was Doom in DOS, and
Yeah,
then
Doom was in
Duke
DOS.
Nukem. It was like, and then it was like how long it took to load these games is quite scary. But yeah, I mean, Warcraft 3 back on the is something I'm going to check out. Seeing it's cheap, it's like £7. That's really cheap for an RTS.
You're definitely going to like it, and the story's phenomenal. The story is what keeps me engaged in that game, even though I don't like RTSs.
And that's cool. Definitely have to give that a look.
Speaking of Warcraft, what's that next story going on?
Well, I feel like this is a bit of a Blizzard show. Um, World of Warcraft account services are about to get more expensive in the EU and the UK. So it's pretty similar to what we had last week with Hearthstone packs gone up, and my jolly aren't Hearthstone packs expensive now. I was like,
How
what is
much
it?
is it for a pack of Hearthstone cards these
Two,
days?
two, two packs. So you're talking 10 cards is £3, where before it was £2. So it's complete. It's a pound on.
Okay.
So it's made me kind of go right. I'm going more free to play than ever with Hearthstone.
Yeah,
So
I really didn't spend very much in Hearthstone. I obviously didn't play it as much as you, but I didn't spend a whole lot, and I felt like you could definitely get by without spending money if you
yeah,
just earn the gold.
my wife has just started playing it, and she just treated herself to the. They now do a starter pack, so you get 10 packs of classic cards, and
You can do that once, right?
yeah, you can only do it once. But this is amazing. This is what. But I've got to say, Blizzard, you of all the companies out there, you seem to just pull out some really nice stops. They don't do anything over the top. It's not like really extravagant, like, oh, look at me, we're doing this. It's just nice things for their fan base. And like I say, my wife has started playing Hearthstone. She doesn't really understand too much about it. I'm teaching her as much as I can. And I said, treat yourself to those packs. It was you get 10 classic packs plus a random free legendary from any of the classes. So, that's all of a sudden you've got 50 cards, you've got a legendary, and you can build just, and that was like 3.99, so probably about $5. And the value of that is ridiculous because that would cost you about 15 to £20 to buy that what they're doing for 3 or 4 quid. So I think that's really nice, and it's a great way of incentive, bringing people in, and then they'll slam you with a price rise like they have done in World of Warcraft. If you're a Warcraft player, please expect things to go up slightly. So character transfers have gone from €20 to €25. That's 19 quid. Name changes have gone from €8 to €10. That's £9. If you're gonna have to, if you're in America, you're gonna have to do your own conversions. I stop at that point. Race changes are going from €20 to €25. Again, 19 quid. Same with the faction changes. Character boosts are going from €50 to €60. That's the price of a full game, £50. Wow. So yeah, it's just gone through the roof. It doesn't say anything about their monthly fees because it's £9 currently.
Well, it
Nine or
depends
£10.
on how long you subscribe for. So if you subscribe for 1 month, then it's like $15. I don't know how much it is over there, but we'll say 15 monetary units. And then if you subscribe for 3 months, it's 14 monetary units a month. And if you subscribe for 6 months, it's less. And then if you subscribe for the whole year, it's even less than that.
Yeah. So it's very much like, well, will this? Because I read something else. Kind of gone back, and they reckon in the first week of the pack rises, Hearthstone has decreased. And it's like, well, of course it will. That's a backlash from the community. They're just going to go, oh, we're not buying stuff.
They'll keep
And then
buying
it'll
stuff.
sort of settle itself, and they'll be like, oh, Hearthstone's on the rise again. It's quarterly, annually figures are showing a rise, and it always happens like that. And I think you'll probably see a dip in players in World of Warcraft for a time, and then that'll just come back up. I don't think it's going to be too damaging for the game because we said last night when we were playing Overwatch that it's still the biggest MMO out there, without a shadow of a doubt.
World of Warcraft, yes.
Yeah, World of Warcraft. So, but it's not coming in until April 5th.
So buy your stuff now.
Yeah. So it's a little bit ironic because apparently many of these account services are 25% off until April 4th.
Oh,
brilliant.
That's really good. So if you want to buy the stuff that you're looking to buy, like now is the time. Do not wait, because not only is the price going up, but it's on sale right now.
They're on sale, yeah, till the April 4th. So they kind of, it's the same with the Hearthstone stuff. They've got a pre-order with the Journey on Goro packs. They've kept that price. They've kept that until that comes out at the price that it was set before the hot price rise. So they're kind of, doing a good thing there. So, and they could have soon ended this sale when these price rises came up, but no, they're gone. No, we're going to keep this sale going, and then April 5th. The prices will go up. So, but if you are playing WoW and you've got stuff to buy and you've got money to burn it now.
Yes, burn it now. Let's move on to speaking of burning things. It's not really burning things, but there's a test fire. Splatoon 2 had a global test fire last weekend. It's over now. So if you haven't already had a chance to play it, then you're going to have to wait for the next one. Basically, it's their beta test to stress their servers. They do it in a really weird way. So basically, it took place over 3 days over the weekend, and in those 3 days, they would have like a 1 hour period in the morning and a 1 hour period at night where you could get on and play. Now on Saturday, my son had a Taekwondo tournament a couple hours away. And so we hopped in the car. He got off the bus. We got in the car and left immediately. Yeah. Well, he got on my hotspot on my phone, and he had the Switch, and we had already downloaded Splatoon. So we were driving down the highway, and he's playing Splatoon 2 on his Switch. And I got to say, that was really cool.
Yeah.
That kind of game is a portable game. Now, I didn't get to play it until we got back Saturday pretty late, and then after he had gone to bed, I loaded up Splatoon 2 for the last one, I think. Actually, I think they had another one on Sunday, but that's beside the point. I played it for a little bit, and sure enough, it's very much like Splatoon, but I had an absolute blast playing that. And when that game comes out this summer, you are definitely, if you have a Switch, you are definitely going to want to pick up Splatoon 2 because it was awesome. And not only that, but if you live in a place where there tends to be, a lot of people around, like especially if you're in college and you've got a Switch, then, you know, being able to do local, because the Switch it'll connect to all of the other Switches nearby, and you guys can have 8-player craziness going on right there local without any internet at all. And it's absolutely a very addictive game. I was very upset when that hour was over and I couldn't play anymore, but I just wanted to let people know that Splatoon 2, just as good as the first one, it seems. I don't know if there's, and this is the one thing that I'm really concerned about, is I really hope that we're getting a story with Splatoon 2, because not really because of the story, but just because the single player experience in Splatoon 1 was so fun. Otterscotch says, can you have multiplayer on just one system? Yes, you can. Although you would need an extra set of Joy-Cons or or a Pro Controller or something like that, because I don't think you can play the game with just one Joy-Con. It's a shooter, so you would need both sticks. So I've read that you can play it multiplayer on just one system. That wasn't available to us during the test fire. They only had like one map available, and you just loaded in and you picked your weapons and you went out there, and I had an absolute blast with it. But I guarantee that you would need to have an extra set of Joy-Cons or a Pro Controller for that.
All right, it's a game that I saw you play the first one on stream, and it looked awesome. So
It's when Nintendo said that they were making a shooter, like people were like, "What? No, Nintendo doesn't do things like that," and they nailed it. And it got me thinking, what kind of game is it that Nintendo doesn't do that I would like them to do other than a shooter now that they've done that? And everybody always says a MOBA. Like a Mario themed MOBA and stuff, where you got all your heroes, like Smash Brothers MOBA or whatever. That would be cool, but I would also like them to I'd like to see them make a first-person shooter out of Metroid, but not like the Metroid Prime that we had before, because that one wasn't really a first-person shooter, because when you played it, you could hold a button to lock on to the enemy, so that as you moved around, they always stayed kind of in the middle, and then you still aimed, but you were locked on, kind of always facing them, even if you weren't shooting them straight on. Dragonfire in chat says there's enough MOBAs. Hey, I always have room in my life for a new something, so I'm okay with getting a new one of those. Let's move on to the next story. Unless, do you have any Splatoon?
Yeah, I was going to say
questions?
there was an article I read today, and I don't know if I was going to do it on the show or not. It says Nintendo are looking to do more unconventional games, so do watch this space. If Splatoon is anything to go by, they're good at this sort of thing. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, after they brought out this new IP and it did so well for them, and as well as it did, I mean, it did phenomenally well considering that there were only 13 million Wii U's for people to buy. Like, that was the maximum number of games that they could possibly sell for this game. And like, it had a pretty high attach rate, and in Japan, that game went bananas. Like, it is huge in Japan. So I fully expect to see more new IPs from Nintendo going forward. Like, Splatoon's fantastic. ARMS looks really good, and they always seem to find a way to put this weird, quirky spin on a genre that already exists, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth, and the Switch does seem like it's the console to do it on. So that's really good.
All right, tell us about this next story.
I got
While I
some
go
sad
yell at
news,
a cat,
guys.
you keep going.
I want everyone to get ready, please. A moment of silence. GameStop is closing 150 stores. There you go. Okay, so GameStop is closing at least 150 stores due to poor quarter 4 sales. Now, we've given GameStop a bit of a bashing over the last few weeks. 2 seconds. Yes? Pardon?
That's okay. Yeah, we do tend to not give GameStop very much room for error or maneuver because we're not. I'm especially not a big fan of GameStop. Um, they are really depending on in order to make their money. They are really depending on selling used games.
Okay.
And developers are finding ways to keep players from turning in their games. They add in DLC, so now I'm less likely to turn it in because what if they bring out DLC for this game? Then I'll have to rebuy it again if I enjoyed it. They keep adding multiplayer so that now I want to keep it. Those kind of things hurt GameStop, and I'm okay with that because when GameStop sells a used game, the developer doesn't see any of the money. All right, Zapp is back. What else did you have to say about it, man?
Um, you pretty much covered it. My working in retail, as we discuss, many people know, I feel more sorry for the staff. The people who are
Oh
on
yeah, that
ground level.
sucks.
150 stores. That's a lot of jobs that people are out of. Um, but as a big corporate business, they can clear off. I think they are as Dragonfire says in chat, a blight on the industry, and it is a fair point. They don't, and you covered all the bases. It really is just it's. I think there's quite a few reasons. You've got digital downloads. A lot of people like to buy their stuff digitally now. It's convenient for you to sit at home, load up Steam, BattleNet, Origin, um, Bethesda launcher, whatever launcher you use, because there are about a million launchers.
I've got it. GameStop should make a launcher.
Oh no, don't, because all it will do is it will say you can buy this game. It's used, but you can buy it for 3 times the price. Um, oh, the pain. But there's all of that out there, and it is convenient for me to sit at home and look at Steam and go, oh, buy that. Not that we have GameStop in the UK. We have Game. It's a different, separate corporation, but it's still a similar thing. We had two. We had two. We had GameStop and we had there was another one, and they closed, and then they merged with Game. I can't even think of the other one, but it was sad. It's the jobs. I feel sorry for the people who are on ground level, not the big corporate bosses and all that sort of stuff who are telling these mainly probably out of college or whatever, earning a few pennies to do these things, these poor practices that we both frown upon. They're going to lose their jobs. So, but at the same time, yeah, good riddance to GameStop. I hope I don't like them as a company or what their practices as a company. I think it's bad.
Yeah, well, I think they're moving more towards. I mean, they went and they bought ThinkGeek, which is one of my favorite. Pardon me. Sorry, I had a tickle in my throat. They bought ThinkGeek, which is one of my favorite websites to buy stuff from. And it just has nerdy stuff. And they bought that, and now they opened up retail stores where you can go into stores and buy ThinkGeek stuff, which you used to have to go to the website to buy, which is kind of cool. I think one of the main issues with GameStop, and I don't know what it's like over there with Game, but like up until, I don't know, it's probably 3 years ago, we had two GameStops on the same street. And I live in a little tiny podunk town. I mean, that's just bad. Like, why would they do that?
Yeah, we're in the city, which is about 17 mile from where I live. There's two games within, I don't know, walking distance, and then there used to be, Sax said the company's name, the Sax machine, Game Station was the other one that closed. And that was round the corner from a game. So we had three game shops, and then there was little old Jeffrey in the independent store being whittled out because of the big companies. And I hope you see the rise of the independent store. I'm all for independent stores, small independent shops. That's where it needs to be because they have something else. They have customer service. They have that little bit of customer service that makes you want to go back each time. Big corporate companies, they forget that. And that's, where we see this happen.
Yeah,
People don't.
I don't see that a mom and pop shop are going to be selling video games. I mean, at the beginning of this segment, I guess we were talking about how everything's going digital, and it's really hard for them to compete. And I bet you the publishers would prefer everybody buy digital because first off, you can't trade it in, you can't loan it to a friend, because you can't trade it in or loan it to a friend. Once you buy a game, you're stuck with it, whether you like it or not. They get to control the price, and they make more money. So they sell a $60 game that's digital. The publisher keeps all of the money, and they didn't have to, because they don't sell it to GameStop for $60. They sell it to GameStop for X dollars, and then GameStop marks it up to $60. But when we buy it digitally, we don't get a discount. And I think the reason that we don't get a discount is because the brick and mortar stores, they basically hold the publishers hostage and say, look, if you give these guys a discount for buying it digitally, we're not going to carry your product. So the publishers are afraid of companies like GameStop, and they have to make deals with them. And, that kind of sucks. Interesting tidbit is when I was in high school, I worked at a Babbage's. Have you ever heard of a Babbage's?
Did it sell badges?
No, Babbage's. Named after Charles Babbage. He invented the computer, basically. And Babbage's was a video game store. And it was awesome to work at a video game store as a high school student who loved video games. We were allowed to take games home and try them out so that we could talk about them with customers. So customers would come in and they would ask about, hey, what's this game, or how about that game? And then we could help them with that because we were able to take it home and play it. And I loved that job mostly because I just loved to talk about video games. And people would come in and they would talk to us about video games all the time. And we always had all of the magazines. I subscribed to EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly, and I subscribed to Nintendo Power. But I had the opportunity to read all of the gaming magazines at work. And it was great. I absolutely loved that. And it really sucks because I know that right now there's somebody working at a GameStop that's just like I was in high school. Like they're probably some high school student, and they're going to lose a job that they love because, well, they probably don't love a job at GameStop because GameStop really treats their employees like dirt from what I've heard. But it just sucks. It sucks that those stores are closing, and it's going to give customers less options to go buy stuff, and they're going to have to buy it either digitally or online.
Just
wonder.
Think about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
If customers want to buy an EA product, they have to buy it off Origin.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, no, they don't. I mean, you can buy an EA product from Amazon, can't you?
Well, yeah, you can, but if they want to buy it digitally, you got to install Origin.
Right, that's true, and I won't do that. I won't. I'm not installing Origin. I've already decided it's never happening.
I don't blame you. It's too orange.
It's too orange. Oh my goodness. There's all I can think of is, did you ever watch Spaced?
Yeah, I've seen some of Spaced. Yeah.
Okay. There's a scene where Simon Pegg. I won't mention it because I think that there's connotations along with it, but I'll type it to you later.
Yeah,
Too
yeah, yeah.
too orangey is what I'm referring to.
I think I
And
know which one you mean.
oh, okay, all right. So let's move on past GameStop and talk about an issue that I have run into with Dark Souls. And that is that the game does not let you pause. And I've talked about this before. It drives me crazy. Well, Neo, which it's Nioh, not Neo.
Neo.
It is, a third-person action game. It's by Team Ninja. I believe that those are the guys that brought us Ninja Gaiden, right?
Yes, they
Ninja
are.
Gaiden. So
Yes.
they made Ninja Gaiden, and this game is a very Dark Souls style game. It looks beautiful. It looks like a lot of fun, and people are saying that it's really good. But up until now, you could not pause the game, and it absolutely drives me crazy when publishers do that. I'm a dad. I have things that I have to do. Even if I wasn't a dad, what if I ordered a flippin' pizza and I'm playing my game, and the pizza guy comes, and I can't pause my game to get up and go answer? Game developers need to understand that I'm not alive just to play your game. I have other things going on in my life. That's one of the things I loved so much about the 3DS and the PS4 is they have that suspend feature, and the same thing with the Switch. It has that suspend feature. Does the Xbox One have a suspend feature?
No idea. I think Kodiak has a Xbox One. We'll ask him.
All right.
He's like,
Anybody in chat who's got suspend or
I think they do. I think in the middle of the Xbox controller, there's the home button. I
yeah.
think you could suspend it like that.
Those of you watching the shut up, Marvy. Those of you watching the stream, you just saw me looking down at the floor. It's a cat. I got like a little trash can next to my desk, and my cat just grabbed some plastic out of there and was trying to run away with it because they eat plastic because they're idiots, and then they throw it up. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Anyway, so that's why I stopped in the middle of what I was saying. So if the Xbox also has a suspend feature, then good on them. And Dragonfire in chat has a really good, he says there's no reason not to allow pause. Like, do you think that Dark Souls is a better game because you can't pause it?
Yeah.
Really? You really do?
Yep.
Oh
I'm
my
sadistic.
God.
I have such a love affair with Dark Souls that, but not being able to pause and hear me out before anybody freaks out and goes, "You're an idiot." It makes you think of where you have to stop. Now, I completely agree with you on certain. Like, I'm a dad. I have a busy life. Unless I've got 3 or 4 hours to kill, I will not play a Souls game because I know what they're like. And Neo's the same. And I don't think this is a sign of I think this is a sign of accessibility on Neo's part. And it's a very clever thing to do. Add a patch that, allows the game to pause because Neo's dropped. It's sunk off the radar. And this could bring it back to the not really the casual the casual audience is really the best way I can put it to these games. The Souls games are renowned for being hard. I've played them all, right from Demon Souls to Bloodborne. I've broken controllers over them, 4 in total. 3 PS4s and an Xbox 360 controller later, and I still love these games. Haven't yet played Neo, but for me, it's allowing me to think of what's coming up. If I think, right, I've got a boss coming up, I can't pause, then I'm gonna have to save some time, 2 or 3 hours. It makes the game for me personally, a much more hardcore experience. But I understand people's gripe with it because that is one of the biggest gripes with any Souls game. You want to pick it up for a couple of hours, but then you've got to go to the store, but you don't want to lose where you are. I'll just pause it. PS4, all those games do it amazingly. I'll hit the PS button or the Xbox button, whatever console you're playing it on, and it will just suspend the game and you're there. So, do I think, I don't think it harms the experience, but at the same time, I don't think having games, having a pause feature is not a bad thing for games. I just like that in the Soul series because it doesn't have it. It makes my gaming experience with Soul series that ever more, you know, ever more sort of exhilarating if I can get past parts and stuff like that.
Well, I get what you're saying, but what it does for me is it keeps me from playing the game. So, like, because I don't have a 3-hour block to sit down and play it,
Yeah.
then I say to myself, well, I guess I'll play it some other time. And I always put it off. And I always put it
Yeah.
off. And I always put it off. And then I kind of forget about it. If you don't play a game often enough, your brain will just say, hey, what was that game that you wanted to play? Oh, it must have been this other shiny thing. Let's play that. And so I have Dark Souls 3, and I think it's a very good game,
Yeah.
but the lack of a pause feature kind of makes it so, I mean, I don't even like playing it on stream very much because I can't pause it to stop and talk to chat and things like that. I have to walk away. So, like, not walk away, but like I have to go and find a safe place to hide for a second so I can catch up on what chat is saying before I move on. And that kind of kills the momentum for me. Whereas if I was paused, I could just look and pause it and read something and reply and then unpause it. It would take me less time to do that, and it would keep that combat cycle going more often. I like how hard the Dark Souls games are, but I don't like that I can't pause. It just makes me not want to play it very much. Dragonfire in chat says, better not play Dark Souls 3. I might have to take a leak sometime in the next 6 hours. That's totally true. Everybody peace.
Dragonfire also brings up another point. If your game's difficult, depends on crippling menu system function, that's a design failure. I kind of disagree with, and then I kind of agree with what Snow Goes Ham saying is that's not true. It's hard even without that. It's a design choice because they don't want you pausing. It's true. The developers from Software, I think, even came out Dark Souls 2. They made some really poor design choices with Dark Souls 2, and they said they weren't going to put pause feature in. They told people from the start, halfway through Dark Souls 2 development, that there was going to be no pause features. This game has always been said no. But I understand. I get what you're saying. I totally get that. But for me personally, I find it a joy. For others, it's not fun. And I get that.
All right. So listen, Zapp and I disagree on this. We need you guys to let us know what is better. Do you think that adding or removing a pause feature from a game makes it a better game? So you guys let us know. Email us runjumpstomp@gmail.com or hit us up on Discord or Twitter or whatever. Just let us know what you think, and we'll talk about it at the beginning of the next show.
By the way, I'm just going to turn around. I'm not stripping. This is not a part of a segment that I'm adding in. I'm taking my jumper off.
And for those of you who don't live in England, a jumper is a sweater.
It's a jumper.
It's a sweater because if you wear it when it's hot, you sweat. They don't make you jump higher, so it's not a jumper.
It's a jumper. Anyway.
And trainers are sneakers.
What, do they make you quieter?
They do. Listen, I work in a school. When the principal is walking down the hall, I know because she's going clip clop because she's got like pumps on. When I'm walking down the hall, nobody knows because I wear sneakers.
We're going to disagree with this all night. Let's move on.
All right, let's move on. The next story is yours, sir. What's going on?
It's all about Blizzard again, and it's all about Blizzard. The free loots. So, guys, if you are Hearthstone, we've mentioned Hearthstone already. I'm going to keep mentioning it until probably the end of next week. Basically, we are now entering the year of the Mammoth. Goodbye, the year of the Kraken, which was Hearthstone's last year, a calendar thing. Next week, April 6th, is the apparent release date for Journey of Ungoro. And if you are a Hearthstone player or someone who wants to get into Hearthstone, now is the best time. For just logging in, you get free stuff.
Oh, what kind of stuff?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Today, if you've logged in, you get 50 gold. Tomorrow is a Mean Streets of Gajazan card pack. March 30th is 100 dust. April 1st, we'll see you get Whispers of the Old Gods card pack. April 2nd, we'll see you get a Journey of Unguru card pack. 3rd of April will get you 50 golds. And the 4th of April will get you a Journey of Unguru. And then April 5th, you get a golden Volcanosaur. Look at that card design. That is incredible. That is some incredible artwork on that. They're only giving you one.
That's right. It's not a unique, so you can have 2 of them.
Yep, and it just looks so cool. So to be fair to Blizzard, they are really pulling out of stock. They did this last year, where they gave you some free stuff. They gave you some cards and a legendary for free and things like that. So all in all, you get pack wise, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can buy a fifth pack with your 100 gold. 100 dust can make a card or 2, and you get this free cool looking card, and it does look really cool. It's a beast, which has good synergy with what's coming in. So, but you have to log in every single day.
That's real easy to do. Just get it installed on your iPad or your iPhone or your Android phone or whatever, or install it on your computer. It's easy to log in every day. I'm going to. It's been installed on my iPad since it came to iPad, and I have yet to uninstall it since then. I probably will never uninstall it because it's such a good game, even though I don't play it very often. But I'm definitely going to be logging in every day to make sure that I get this stuff. Now, my only question is, Blizzard is fantastic at April Fool's stuff. They always have fantastic April Fool's stuff. I really hope that there's something that happens on that April 1st with that card. Maybe
they're deleting all the accounts.
Yeah, right. No, have you seen Blizzard's April Fool's stuff that they've done for?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen anything.
Warcraft.
No.
Oh my God!
I'll have to have a look at it after the show.
Well, here I'll tell you a couple of them. One of them, they said that you could build a dance floor, or there was a dance, a way to do dancing in the game, and you could, like, there was a dancing mini game in the game, in World of Warcraft. And it was just a joke. They actually ended up putting it on the box, that really? This was something that you could do. Another thing that they did is they announced, and this was like their best one, is they announced a new race, which you're never going to believe this. So they announced a new race, which was a 2-headed ogre that could only be played by 2 people at the same time. Okay. And then they made it real in Heroes of the Storm because Cho'Gall is a 2-headed ogre that can be played by 2 people at the same time. So they take this April Fool's stuff and run with it, and I hope that there's a cool April Fool's thing for this Whispers of the Old Gods card pack. Maybe like when you open it up, it's got like just a bunch of junk cards, but then when you click on them, they turn into good cards or something like that. Something to acknowledge that it's April 1st because they're good at that stuff.
I can't remember them doing any. I can't remember it last year in Hearthstone. I mean, I can't remember that far back, but it's well worth it. And if you have, I must mention this as well. If you have a character to rank 20, enter the Tavern Brawl. You can get the packs for the new expansion that's coming out. So they are giving you plenty. And like I said, my wife started. There's plenty of ways to get involved in Hearthstone. You shouldn't just put it off if you think it's a pay-to-win game because it has those kind of like it's pay for convenience. But you remember, you're paying for packs that you have no idea what's in them. So go out there, do this, and get involved in the I mean, it's free. If you have it on your computer or your phone, it's free. Just log in, even if you don't play it. Get the stuff. It's free.
Yeah. Somebody earlier in chat said, for free at that price, I'll take 2.
Yep, exactly. And a special mention because I did see it come up into chat. We spoke about it last night. Guild Wars 2 is doing its Super Adventure Box from tomorrow. So if you're Guild Wars 2 fans and you like Super Adventure Box, jump in. The update is live, but Super Adventure Box goes live tomorrow. I will be streaming Tribulation Mode, which is going to be fun to watch me rage. I'll probably break stuff. But I'm looking forward to Super Adventure Box. I like that. So, yeah. That's also coming.
If you're not aware of what he's talking about, Super Adventure Box is basically this April Fool's joke that Guild Wars 2 did that I think it's probably the most popular thing that they ever did.
Yes.
But basically, there is an Asura named Moto, and he made a game in. And Asura is one of the races in Guild Wars 2, but he made a game in the actual Guild Wars 2 game. So you go to him and you give him a token, and he lets you play his game. And his game, you have to rescue his the princess named Mia. So there's Miyamoto, named after the guy who created Mario and Zelda and Donkey Kong and all that stuff. And you have to rescue Mia, and it all has like this, even though it's a 3D game, it has this 8-bit quality to it that looks like the colors pop off the screen, and it's got these really cool jumping puzzles that you have to do, and it takes away your usual action bar and replaces it with other stuff that you can get along the way. And Darian97, also known as Quando in chat, he's got it perfect. He says it's like an 8-bit platformer or a 16-bit platformer. It's so much like that, in fact, that Nintendo, for crying out loud, that ArenaNet made a Nintendo-style commercial featuring one of the characters from the game playing through basically Ritlock's journey or something like that. And have you ever seen that commercial, Zapp?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, if you haven't, you have to look for the Ritlock Super Nintendo commercial on YouTube. It's one of the funniest things that you've ever seen. And when I was a kid, that is what commercials were like, especially for video games. Basically, Super Adventure Box was made by like one guy as his like side project, and it was so popular that they ended up making a whole in-game holiday around it.
Well, it officially launched as an in-game last year. They said they were going to bring it as a festival. Where I mean, they had like once it disappeared for a year, people were up in arms. The community was raging hard.
Wasn't it 2 years?
Yeah, it was 2 years and it never returned. And they raged harder than I can rage, and that's pretty ragey. There was just quickly back to Hearthstone. There is also something else. If you win 10 games, it doesn't say if it's got to be with Rogue, but if you just win 10 games of Hearthstone in standard, ranked, or casual, after the next expansion officially launches, you can acquire a new hero.
Oh, okay. And the heroes, they're no different than anything that you can start with. It's just a different look.
Yeah, Maviv Shadow Song is the name. So there you go.
All
so
right.
Blizzard giving the free stuff, Super Adventure Box coming. It's all happening this week.
Well, you guys have a busy week of video games. Let's move on to the lightning round. This is where we're going to talk about stuff, but we won't be quite as verbose. The next story is apparently there's a rumor that we're getting another PS4 that's even thinner than the one that we have now. Which I have the smaller one now, just sitting on my desk. It's got a pretty small footprint. The reason I bring this up is because do you think, well, first off, let's just assume that this rumor is true. Do you think that they would ship a PS4 without a disk drive in order to make it smaller?
I'd want to say no, but we're talking about Sony, so they probably would.
Like, do you and do you think that would be a good idea or a bad idea? Like, you could go to the store and buy a PS4 and then bring it home, and then it's only digital.
I think personally, right? Let me do two views. Personally, from someone who likes having digital hard copies of games, that's a bad idea. But from a business perspective, and if people have been listening to the podcast, it's a very good idea. So I personally don't like it, but I can see Sony doing it from a corporate side of things. Okay. It's the best answer I can give.
See, I personally could not. I don't want digital copy or physical copies of games. Mostly because they're on discs and discs can get scratched. The only reason on the Switch that I'm going with physical copies mostly is because I want to be able to share that copy with my son who has his own Switch, and you can't. Well, you can scratch it, but you can't damage the game as easily as you can with a disc-based media. Snow says it also may be cheaper. Yeah, it could be cheaper to manufacture. There's less moving parts in there. That's a very good point. If there's
It's
less
a very
moving
good point,
parts.
but I, yeah, I just don't like the idea of it. Sony, please don't do it.
All right, we already did your customer service story. You want to talk about NieR some more though, or did we already
Yeah,
do that?
if anybody hasn't played this game yet, go out and play it. This game has blown me away. And I'm not kidding. It is a game that has made me stop and rethink video games a little bit. It's a wonderful, joyous, beautiful experience. It has resolution issues on the PC, and that's only on the PC. I don't know about the PS4, but I heard that the PS4 version runs fine.
I played the demo for the PS4 version, and it ran great. It's
Yeah,
definitely something that I'm going to buy later.
it's a beautiful, wonderful, enjoyable game that has the story seems to be getting weirder and darker. I've just fought my second. I'm not going to do any story spoilers. That's not what we're about. But I've just fought my second boss, and I literally sat there, my jaw open, my eyes wide open with this boss because it was just incredible. Um, I am loving every minute of that game, and it's just so good. So if you haven't bought it or you haven't had a chance to play it, if you've got a PS4, download the demo, give it a go. The combat is smooth. The interaction between characters is amazing. It really is a very good game. And what they've done with that is just excellent. It was published by Square Enix, and it's Platinum Games did all the combat stuff, and I think they developed a lot of it. So, and then Platinum Games did oh,
He's trying to think of something.
Bayonetta.
I don't know who made Bayonetta.
I know they did. I know they did Metal Gear Rising, and I'm sure they did Bayonetta as well. I'll have to check that. I'm going to check that because I don't want to. We don't want emails on false sources.
We do want emails though, guys.
Yeah, we want emails, but not on me getting game developments wrong.
But while he's looking that up real
Bayonetta
quick,
2.
just want to respond to chat. Dragon Tears in chat says, "What about doing it the way movies?" We're talking about digital versus physical. Dragon Tears says, "What about doing it the way movies have started? You could buy a physical copy, get a digital copy." There's no way that they would ever do that because people would I would buy it and then give the physical copy to Zapp, and then I would give my digital copy. So there's no way that they would do that. Did you find the answer that you were looking for?
Yep.
Oh, Wyvern has it.
Yes, Bayonetta is platinum. Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta the first one. They also did a game called Vanquish. If you ever get a chance to play Vanquish, it's on the PS3 and Xbox 360. I don't know if it's on Steam. It was a very good game. Transformers Devastation is also a very good game. They did a lot of great games that kind of just slip under the radar. They just kind of disappear.
Bayonetta's huge on Nintendo stuff because they even included her in Smash Brothers. That's how popular she was over on the Wii U, which was surprising. Although they had a deal where when you bought Bayonetta 2 for the Wii U, you got Bayonetta 1 as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But they also did Scalebound, which was the Microsoft exclusive that got cancelled earlier this year. And no one really understands why that got cancelled. But anyway, back on complete and utter what I'm saying about NieR Automata, as I've christened the name and calling it because I love the name NieR Automata. I can't recommend the game highly enough. Just go out and play it. Go enjoy that experience because it's a wonderful, joyous experience so far. But I've been told no story spoilers, obviously. But someone said to me, just prepare yourself, and so I was like, for what? And they're like, I'm not telling you. Right. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah, it's on my list. I definitely want to play it. Next story in the lightning round is that let me ask you a question. Did you ever get to play Daytona USA?
Daytona.
I take that as a yes. I
Yes.
absolutely loved Daytona USA. I played it on. My brain isn't working. I think the Saturn. I think it was on the
Uh,
Sega Saturn.
yeah, it was
And
on. It came to the PC as well.
oh, did it? Okay.
Yes, because I played it on the PC.
Well, I won't be able to play it again because I don't have the Xbox One. But Daytona USA was a racing game, like a NASCAR style racing game, the Daytona 500. And I'm not a NASCAR guy. I'm not even really that much of a racing guy, but I have remember putting a lot of hours into the Sega Saturn version of Daytona USA and playing it in the arcade as well because it was also an arcade game. And so I just want to do a quick PSA to let people know that it's coming to Xbox One, and it was a fantastic game, so you should check it out.
It was a game that me and my dad spent many hours on. I've got serious kind of fond childhood memories with this game. I love it. Rolling Star is
Oh yeah, the
incredible.
rolling start. That's right. So you didn't
Yeah.
start at like you were parked and everybody it counted down and you hit the gas. Everybody was going already when the game started. That was really cool, and I don't think other racing games did that either.
No, and it had a and then everyone wondered why I'm saying it like that. It had a voiceover which is like Rolling Star, and then you'd go, oh, it was brilliant. Oh yeah, that's an absolute classic. Too bad it's only coming to Xbox One. Have I got to buy an Xbox One just to play that?
Well, find out if it's on PC
I
or
just checked the Xbox, the Microsoft Store, and it's not there.
well, I mean it's not out yet, so
Oh,
you know,
oh,
we'll see when it comes.
yeah.
All right, so the last story in the lightning round. What's this about? Here's the storm changes.
Is this one about the Final Fantasy 14? Did you want to do that?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can do that too. Real quick, Final Fantasy 14 PSA is that in the patch notes for 3.5.6, it says that the free trial accounts no longer have a 14-day limit, and the must transfer your character to a paid account within 90 days limitation has also been removed. So basically, is you can play Final Fantasy 14 for free as long as you want until you get to level 35, and then you can't play that character anymore. They'll also cap your gil so that you know can't use it to be a gil seller. And they'll restrict social stuff so that you can't spam people all the time. That's pretty awesome because
Yeah.
I did not try Final Fantasy 14 for a very long time only because of that time limit, because I said to myself, are you really going to be able to make that much progress in that amount of time to decide if you want it or not? And so now there's really no reason not to try that out because it's free until you hit level 35, and level 30, like, you can experience a good portion of the game before level 35. Now
Yep.
what I'm not sure about is because in Final Fantasy 14 they have the job system. So let's say I make a character and I start leveling up I don't know, a monk, or not a monk. Yeah, a monk. So I start leveling up a monk, or a pugilist. Sorry, that's the word. So I start leveling up a pugilist, and I get them to level 35 or whatever. Can I then just go and do the quest to become a conjurer instead, and then level from 1 to 35 as a conjurer on the same character? That's kind of confusing. So I think that they need to have more information out there. And a lot of people are saying, whoa, I wonder if they're going to go free to play. I don't think they're going to go free to play. This is the same thing that World of Warcraft did years ago, and they're still not free to play.
No. I will say about this, about you American people who play Final Fantasy 14. Just carrying on with this. They are moving the data servers. Apparently, they are situated in. I caught Mr. Happy talking about this the other day. They are talking. I just found the web page, so I will link this in chat right now for NA people, and we'll link it on the show notes if anybody wants to have a look later. Basically, they're situated in Canada currently, and they're moving them moving them sometime in the middle of May. So there will be an experience. They're saying that users could experience 48 hours of downtime, which they are I think replenishing as well. They're obviously giving that back. So middle of May, I'll keep an eye on this when it's going to happen, and I will update everyone in due course of when they give the confirmation of dates, because we do both play Final Fantasy 14, even though we're not playing it a lot currently. But at the same time, it's it's there. So and it's one of my favorite MMOs out there, and because it's a Final Fantasy game. So they are moving the data centers from Canada to, I think, somewhere in either Texas or somewhere like that. So there you go.
All right. Last story in the lightning round. What's it about? Blizzard.
Again, I said
Again,
it was
Blizzard.
all about Blizzard.
Man, he really went after Blizzard today, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think it's another good thing. Heroes of the Storm is probably one of the best casual MOBAs out there, if that makes sense. It's one of the easiest ones to get into. And they've just done a 2.0 update, and it removes a lot of the, how do you put it, the way to buy hero skins. They're bringing loot boxes to Heroes of the Storm, basically.
So loot boxes, just like in Overwatch.
Yep, Overwatch, in all that kind of stuff. They're removing, I believe they're going to be removing the ability to acquire skins through money. And giving you the abilities to craft the skins and stuff like that. Exactly like every single Blizzard game, like Hearthstone, you can craft your cards, and Overwatch, you can buy your skins. So they're basically bringing that kind of stuff in. So, this is good. This is really, really good. I think this is a great thing to do for Heroes of the Storm. It'll make me want to play it a bit more, because it looks like I'm going to get some gear and some loot.
Well, can you also get characters through the loot boxes?
I believe so. Everything is in the loot boxes.
Okay, that's cool. So every time I level up, I get a chance at a loot box, and the loot box might have like a character that I don't have. I wonder what happens. Oh, you probably just get gold if you get.
I'll probably just sell it. Sell it in like the however they do it. So it'll be interesting. I'm going to check out the patch for Heroes of the Storm later, probably at the weekend, and then report back next week on the show of what they're doing with this. So we can really have I caught this really late, so I never had a chance, obviously, with the putting the SSD in and stuff like that, kind of like seeing what's going on. So there you go.
All right. Well, that's it for the lightning round. Every week, Zapp and I, we both select a game and I have the link. Don't worry. I just didn't put it in the show notes. I forgot. So last week's poll, let me paste it in now. So every week, Zapp and I pick a game, and we compare them, and we ask you guys to tell us, what do you think is a game that everybody should play? Last week, he picked Persona 4 The Golden, and I picked the first Castlevania for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And the results are in. And Persona 4 won with 73% of the vote. So you are on a streak, my friend.
That feels good. Persona 4 was a difficult game to beat, I'll be honest with you. That was a difficult game. And they've just released the reviews for Persona 5 out, and it's getting incredible reviews across the board. So there you go.
And what system are you going to get Persona 5 on?
I believe it's only on PS4.
Oh, it's only on PS4. I wasn't sure if it was also a Vita game or what.
No, Persona 5 is only PS4. I've got Persona 4 Golden, but yeah, Persona 5 is only a PS4. It's a PS4 exclusive. So,
all right.
But yeah, Persona 4. Thank you for the win.
All right. Well, now let's do this week's. This week, I can't even remember what I picked. I'm clicking on the link now. Yeah. Okay, so I picked a game called Rune Spell Overture, which is this really weird game. It's a role-playing game that the mechanic for the combat is poker with power-ups and collectible cards. The world is set in an alternate medieval Europe. And it has like historical characters mixed with Norse mythology, and it's really, really weird. And you play the character known as the Changeling, and and I can't seem to bring it up. There we go. That's the wrong button. There we go. You play the character known as the Changeling, and basically you're going through the world and you run into somebody in front of you, and then you bring up... Here, let me move forward in the... I'm trying to find a spot where... Yeah, there you go. So if you're just listening, then go watch the video, and you can see that you play poker against these things. It's like a combination of poker and solitaire. It's really weird and very, very fun, and it's $10 on Steam. It came out back in 2011, and it's a great game. Runespell Overture, definitely check it out.
That's a different one.
It's definitely a different one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I love poker. I love me some poker. Shall I give the listeners and the viewers my choice?
Yeah, well, please do.
Well, my choice is a game that has a wonderful soundtrack. It has an amazing opening song. It has one of the most annoying robots in gaming history. And it's one of my favorite co-op shooters out there. Borderlands 2. This game is one of the best. It's got one of the most fantastic art styles there is. It's just a brilliant, brilliant game. If you haven't played Borderlands, where have you been? This was released in 2012. And it's by Gearbox, and it's regularly on sale, and you can pick this up cheap. They did the pre-sequel. I believe they're now doing Borderlands 3. And it's a very good game. I mean, and the humor in it is brilliant. I mean, and if you like your looter shooters, this is the king of looter shooters. This is the game that you've got to play. So Borderlands 2 is my choice. If you haven't played it, go and get it. Go play it. It's a fantastic game.
And if you are in chat right now, there is a poll that Snow made for us where you guys get to vote and say which one of these two games you think everyone should play. So go ahead and vote, and both Zapp and I are going to tweet this out sometime later on today so we can get your... and it'll also be in the show notes as well. In fact, let me copy it right now into... wrong window. Into the show notes so that I remember. All right. So that is it for the game off. The last segment that we have is Wishlisted. This is where Zapp and I both pick a game that is on our radar and that we want to check out. And this week I picked a fighting game, which is weird because I don't usually play fighting games. But this is called Pocket Rumble, and it's by Chucklefish, which are they're the company behind Stardew Valley.
Oh.
All right. So this is, well, it's published by Chucklefish. It's by Cardboard Robot Games, which I don't know. I've never heard of them. But this game looks really good. Now, do you play fighting games at all?
I haven't played a fighting game for a long time. The last one I played was Street Fighter 5.
Okay. What's your least favorite part of a fighting game?
The repetition.
Okay. My least favorite part of the fighting game is trying to get the commands in. So like quarter circle forward, then quarter circle back, B, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I suck at that stuff. I really do. So Pocket Rumble is a 2-button fighting game. All of the characters' special abilities come from, you do like diagonally up and A, and diagonally up and B does a different special move, but if you do it without diagonally up or whatever like that, then you just have punches and stuff. And I think that this sounds incredibly fun, and it looks like it's coming to like everything. It's on Steam. It's coming to the Switch. It's supposed to be, right now it's in early access, and it's supposed to be coming to the Switch. It was supposed to come out in March, but apparently it's been delayed. But Pocket Rumble looks really good. It's got an awesome art style to it. It looks like somebody took it from an old Super Nintendo. And they've also got like some really interesting things in there. Like they have a training mode in there that will show you the hitboxes and stuff like that. So you know, all right, I should definitely do this with do this ability this spacing away from my opponent so you can get better at that stuff because you can see the hitbox. So they also are saying that they've got new characters coming each month, and I absolutely love the art style, and because it doesn't have complicated controls, it also seems like a perfect game to play on a Switch because you can just take the controller off the side and hand it to somebody, and you can sit there and just play it. And because it doesn't have complicated controls, a joystick is perfectly fine for it. So
that looks really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't mind me some fighting games, but yeah, you're right. Trying to crack out combos and finishes, fatalities, and all this just does my head in.
Right. I mean, I remember going to the arcade when I was a kid and putting the quarters up on the Mortal Kombat machine, and we'd put the quarter in, and then you're fighting, and you got to remember, all right, so quarter circle forward heavy was Sub-Zero's ice attack. Quarter circle, no, forward back light was Scorpion's get over here move, and while that was cool, the real reason that those games are fun is because of the strategy, not because of the dexterity movements, for me anyway. And Pocket Rumble seems to have all of the strategy of a fighting game without the hand gymnastics of other fighting games.
This was me in a fighting game. Hang on. I'm going to disconnect this from my computer in case something breaks.
Oh, boy. What's happening?
Ready? This is me. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. So you're a button masher.
Yeah, I'm button masher. But I tell you, when I went to EGX, or when I've been to EGX the last couple of times, the things that impressed me the most, not the CS:GO players, none of that. It's the Street Fighter players, because they've got the joystick pads, and the hand movement is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. So yeah, it's definitely, it looks good. I might pick it up for £7. And it's a multiplayer. Me and you could beat each other up, run jump.
That sounds fun. I've always wanted to kick your tail.
Same feelings mutual.
Yeah, it feels like this is a game that can neutralize or level the playing field so that it's less about who
has done a year's practice.
Exactly, and more about who can use the combos in the right order. Like, all right, first I'll do this, and then I'm going to follow up with that. Where I can think like that, but my hands can't input the commands right all the time. So, all right, that's it for Pocket Rumble. That's on my wish list. What do you got on your wish list this week?
One is already, it's a little bit of a cheat because I've already bought this game, but I want it on my favorite system, which is the Vita. And it's Salt and Sanctuary. This game is incredible. It's one of the best 2D Souls games experience. It doesn't let you pause for a start.
Boo.
Actually, no, yes, it does. I think it does.
Yay.
I'll have to check.
I'm easy to please.
Salt and Sanctuary is a 2D Souls game where it's just unforgiving, rage-inducing, beautiful, everything. I kind of linked. I haven't found. I was meant to link a video.
That's okay. I'm trying to get away from the videos because every time I do, I get called out on YouTube.
So you've got a fantastic art style. It's just a wonderful, joyful experience to play this game, and it released on Vita today. And I'm like, yes. So this is a game I've wanted to be portable for ages. It had a really rocky development. Scar Studios, who published and developed this game, handed the Vita development over to a different company, and they had lots of problems. And I think Scar Studios just basically said, "We'll have it back." There is rumor that this is coming out for the Switch.
Cool.
So if the Vita launch goes well, and it's and it does well, and it shows use good on portable, then there is strong, plausible reason for the Switch. I'll email developers for you to make sure they put a pause mode in.
They don't have to. The Switch just has a button you can push on top of the thing that puts it in suspend mode. Same thing with the PS4.
It's a great experience, and their currency in game is called Salt. That's why I love it even more. So it's so good, and I'm going to have to go back to it on stream.
Fun fact. Sorry, go ahead.
It's a game that I haven't finished, but I love it. It's great.
Fun fact: did you know that that's how we used to pay people? Was in Salt.
Was in Salt.
That's why it's called a salary.
Get you.
Yeah, there you go. Dropping the knowledge.
So the way I was the other night about Overwatch, I could have paid someone millions.
That's true. You could have.
I was. If anybody doesn't know, there's a video on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. Play the game. Should have been. I'm still salty about that.
Yeah, and then there was another one where he and I were playing Overwatch last night on his stream, and I was Reinhardt, and I basically stole somebody else's play of the game because I happened to what's his hammer mode where he hits everybody with the hammer.
I can't think what it's called, but it's just like a stun attack.
Yeah, his stun attack. I used the stun attack and then charged forward, killed one guy, and then somebody else killed all the dudes that I had hit with the stun attack, and I got play of the game. So,
but,
they were a little mad about that. They were salty.
Yeah. Mine was everyone else was fighting off the payload, and I went and put the payload into we won the game. Like, Blizzard picked Bastion or something for just sitting in the corner and mowing people down. That's not play of the game. I tactically changed from I knew to change to Tracer at that point in the game, and Zapp got Tracer. Tracer won the game. There you go. See.
There you go. By the way, just so everybody knows, currently right now in the game off, we are tied 50-50 for Runespell Overture and Borderlands 2, which I did not expect after he pulled out Borderlands because I figured nobody had even heard of Runespell. So, check out that.
Maybe it's an anti-Zapp protest this week. I don't know.
I don't think so. So anyway, that's it for the show this week. If you guys want to support the show, the number one way you can do that is give us a review on iTunes. It pushes us further up. Right now, hey, Zapp, I'm just curious.
Yes.
How many people do you think subscribe to the show?
I don't know. Go on.
All right. So I looked today, and it's over 1,000.
Really?
Yeah, which completely flabbergasted me. And we haven't had any reviews on iTunes, even though we got 1,000 subscribers. So that really surprised me. So if you're listening to this right now, go and just give us a review. Tell us what you think. Give us 2 stars or 5 stars or whatever it is that you think. We want your honest feedback. If you want to be part of the show, you can email us at runjumpstomp@gmail.com. Or if you're angry, then djzapp@zapp.com.
I'm the angry guy.
That's right. If you're mad about something, then email Zapp, not me. You can give us a call at 260-RUN-JUMP. That's 260-786-5867. And you can leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on the show. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Run, Jump, Stomp, and Zapp. People are going to find you where?
Let's not have a meltdown this week. Twitch and YouTube is at DJ Zapp, and Twitter is at Django Zapp. Yes.
There you go. You did it, man. As always, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
All right, that's it for the show, guys. I can't believe it didn't break, and I know Sax Machine was waiting for it to break. I don't know why it didn't break. I didn't change anything.
Wow, it didn't break. I'm shocked. I'm a bit disappointed, actually.
That it didn't break? I know.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed. I think everyone is disappointed in the chat right now.
I'm just trying it again. It's working again.
What?
Oh, yeah, they're pointing out I forgot to put up the end card. So I screwed that up. My wife is here. What's up, honey? Oh, okay. Guys, we need a title for the show.